Good evening, Middle States Region. I am so glad you are here. Here we are, finally here. Beginning of MSR Leads 2020, the program where we hope to give you all the tools that you will need to engage in the Phi Theta Kappa experience as a member and also as a member of a chapter. We take a lot of pride in our summer learning, and although this is a little bit different this year, it's still going to be the same sorts of things that we do when we're together. And we're going to learn together through all of this. And we're so excited that this year we have all of our major sessions are going to be taught by highly qualified headquarters staff who this is their job to know these programs inside and out. They implement them, they work on them, and they're going to present them to us. So I'm really excited. Over the next 4 weeks, we'll get to meet a lot of folks from headquarters. You'll be able to meet and get to know everybody in the Middle States region. And we're able to give you all the tools that you need to get started in everything that you plan on doing with your chapter. The reason we do this is because we like to stay on top. We like to be one of those powerhouse regions that stays involved and engages all of our chapters. We had an epic, awesome year in 2019, and we want to continue that. We want to continue our 5-star region status. And in order to do that, we have to have engaged chapters. And in order to do that, we need to support you in what you're doing. Some things are going to look a little different this year because of the situation that we are living through post-COVID-19 or during COVID. I mean, we're not past that yet. But I always say, if there's a will, there's a way, and we will get it done. We want you to keep your chapter's 5-star status. We want you to be a Reach chapter and a Middle States Gold chapter. And it's just going to be a little different, the process that we're going to go through. So this is step 1. I'm excited that you've decided to spend time with us. You're going to hear some exciting numbers a little later. But I'm going to share my screen and share my PowerPoint for tonight. 1 of 2. And we will get started. Hold on 1 second. And here we go. Yay, MSR Leads. Welcome, and it's my honor and my pleasure to introduce to you the members of the Middle States Regional Team. Starting with me, if you don't know me, my name is Patty Van Etter. I'm the Regional Coordinator for the Middle States. I have a 21 or 2-year history with the Society. I started as a member at what was called Gloucester County College, now Rowan College of South Jersey. Was able to be engaged in Phi Theta Kappa at a really great level, earned a scholarship to Temple University, came back, helped charter the Middle States Regional Alumni Association, which still exists today, and we'll be celebrating a big milestone anniversary soon with them. After that, went to work in a K-12 district. Unfortunately got laid off, but fortunately got laid off, if that's possible, because then I landed my job at Delaware Technical Community College, where I have been for the last 10 years. I've been an advisor for almost 10 years, a coordinator for 8 years, and I am PTK because it's important to me that we continue to give students the opportunity to get the most of what they can from PTK because they're making that investment. I don't do this alone. I have an outstanding associate regional coordinator team. You're going to hear from them throughout the coming weeks. They may unmute and say hi. So from representing the state of Delaware, my colleague from Delaware Tech, Mr. Mike McCluskey.
Hello, everyone.
From Maryland, from the Beta Alpha Tau at the Community College of Baltimore County, Dr. Linda Gronberg Quinn.
Good evening, everybody.
From the state of Pennsylvania, from the Community College of Philadelphia, Dr. Sarah Ipson. I think Sarah couldn't make it tonight, and my fellow Jersey girlfriend. We like to say that we've grown up in PTK because she's also a PTK alum. our New Jersey Associate Regional Coordinator, Ms. Jennifer Gasparino.
Hey guys, hi. So excited.
Hey. So you'll get to know us through your journey through Phi Theta Kappa. The five of us are here to support you. We also have the advisor for the Middle States Regional Alumni Association, Marianne DeStefano, was also part of, and this makes up our advisory board. So you'll get to know us throughout the year, and we're here to support you at all times. But the real stars of the show are our regional officer team, and I'm so very proud of this team. We have yet to meet in person. I know I've met, well, of course, I've met Bella. I've met Candace in person. I've seen Bree, but as for Rachel and Evan, we haven't had the opportunity to meet together in person as a team since they were elected. They had a really different sort of an election. They were kind of pushed into an online campaign, and I'm so super proud of them. And they have been working and orienting themselves to be your leaders for this coming year virtually. I mean, every week we meet doing some of the things that you will be doing in this program. So without further ado, and of course, unmute yourselves, regional team. Your regional president from Omicron Theta, Anne Arundel Community College, Miss Brianna Barone.
Hi, good to see you.
Hey. Your Delaware State President from my chapter, Alpha Zeta Kappa, at Delaware Technical Community College, Kimby Bella Suki.
Hi, everyone. How are y'all doing?
Hey, Bella. Your DC, Maryland State President from Omicron Pi, Allegheny College of Maryland, Miss Rachel Mickle.
Hey everybody.
Your Pennsylvania State President from the Beta Beta Chi chapter at Northampton Community College, Monroe Campus, Mr. Evan Meister.
Hey, you guys. Thanks for coming out.
And last but not least, from my home chapter where I was inducted from Alpha Psi Pi, Rowan College of South Jersey, Gloucester Campus, your New Jersey State President, Ms. Candace Junta.
Hi, guys.
All right. And also joining us tonight is our Alumni Association, who are providing us activities throughout the month on Thursday nights and also supporting what we're doing. We can't do what we do without the support of our alumni. They, in fact, the alumni that came in first place in most distinguished alumni associations this past year, and we're super proud. So starting with the president for 2020 is Mr. Ryan Puebla.
Hey, everyone.
Our immediate past president, Ms. Rachel Whitman.
Hey.
Our Vice President, Courtney Rice.
Hi, guys.
Our Secretary, Ms. Jennifer Nee.
Hi, everyone.
Nice. We have our members at large, Ms. Samantha Bowman.
Hi, everyone.
Michael Kearns, who couldn't be with us tonight. Nikki Malone, also a member at large, a former New Jersey State President, as well as Courtney Rice was a former officer as well, and also a former international officer. And she's our Google Classroom guru. So Nikki is with us.
Hi, everyone.
And Evan Krieger, he's a member at large, and he comes from us. He transferred to our Alumni Association from the New York region, and we are glad that he's a part of ours now, and we welcome him. Also, Masayer. Hi, Evan, I'm sorry. Masayer Donamar, our final member at large.
Hi.
We have Sherry Walkman, who's our membership coordinator.
Hi everyone.
And Marianne and Diane are the alumni advisor and our chief financial officer for the Alumni Association. So we can't do any of this without them, and we're super proud that they are with us. So I asked this question the other day, last week when we were doing this, why are we doing this? Why should you do this? Why is this important? And a lot of times if we can answer that question, then we feel more engaged in it, that we own it, right? We want to make this our own experience. You may have come from a chapter that's was super successful with Hallmark Awards and being a 5-star chapter, and you are a brand new officer or a brand new member, and you hear all these things and you're like, how am I going to put this all together? How are we going to continue the legacy of what our chapter has been able to do? I assure you, you have a fantastic advisor at your chapter that's going to be able to walk you through all those things. But at the same time, we want you to know that the region is here to support you in all of that. And as we set our goals as a region, we hope that you will engage in those projects, and this is one of them. So this is the other part, mainly is in our summer program. Our focus is always on learn, engage, lead, and this year succeed. We want you to succeed. We want the region to succeed. And if we're all starting out together on the same page and giving you all the same information, we can do that. We can learn from each other. No one is an expert here. We just have more experience. I expect those that have more experience to share with those that are just coming on. The biggest, the best thing to me about Phi Theta Kappa is that we're all in this together and we're here to support each other. And so that's the whole philosophy and mission behind MSR Leads. It's to learn, engage, lead, and succeed. And with all that being said, I'm super excited to say that 37 chapters have registered or represented this time through MSR Leads 2020, even though it is a digital version of it. We have over, I think the number went up to 235 attendees that will be, that have registered and will be participating in this. This is the largest number outside of convention, digital convention a couple of months ago, even on an on-site. Last year we had a pretty high number. I think we were at 218, but this is just phenomenal. We have chapters that are participating in this that have never participated on a regional level because of funding, because of travel. And so I'm grateful that we're able to do this so that they can engage on a regional basis with us. And not only do we have members of the Middle States region, I am really happy that a member of the Illinois region reached out and asked if she could just do this with us. And we said, of course, they're always welcome. So welcome, Maya. That was her name, right, Caroline? Maya?
Yeah, it's Maya.
Is Maya here? I don't hear her. So anyway, so we're just grateful that she could be a part of this, and we will share everything that we have. So pretty great. Give yourself a hand. This just warms my heart that we have all of these people and all of these chapters participating, and I'm sure it's going to grow over the next couple of weeks as more folks get to hear more about it. Super proud. So before I share that, I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and I want to just see everybody, wave everybody, yay, just to see everybody. I'm going to pull up another file and give you an opportunity to meet a very special person in Phi Theta Kappa. Friends, a mentor, outstanding leader of community college students and what she does for Phi Theta Kappa. And so I am honored that she's going to join with us this evening and talk to you about Phi Theta Kappa and also give you a little motivation on how to, engage in it. And so I'm going to read her bio to you and introduce her. So Dr. Lynn Tincher-Ladner is president and CEO of Phi Theta Kappa, the nation's oldest and largest honor society for students seeking associate degrees and credentials from community colleges. Most of Lynn's time is spent creating opportunities for some of the nation's hardest working students by connecting them to life-changing scholarships. I got one of those, and family-sustaining employment. With nearly 30 years in higher education, she has been a community college math, chemistry, and physics instructor. I don't think I could have taken any of her classes though. A computer programmer, a database administrator, institutional researcher, and university faculty member. She serves on national boards for the College Promise campaign and the Center for Community College Student Engagement. As a passionate champion for community colleges and community college students, she loves using data to tell stories and to advocate for the support of these amazing students and quality institutions of higher learning. It's my pleasure and honor to turn it over to Dr. Lynn Tincher-Ladner, President and CEO of Phi Theta Kappa.
Thank you, Patty. That was awesome. This region has grown so much under your leadership, and I really appreciate you you have such a great alumni and great advisors. And I've really enjoyed watching this region just blossom in the last few years in particular. So no pressure, guys. This is like an award-winning region. So it is on. There are 28 other regions that you'll be competing against. So anyway, it's pretty awesome stuff. I kind of want to get a little bit back to the basics today, just a little bit. And just because there's so many new people raise their hand, and I want to make sure everyone understands that PTK has like a two-part mission. It's kind of odd. Usually there's a single mission for an organization, but we actually have two missions. But the first part is to recognize students just like you that are working so hard in the classroom, getting great grades, passing those chemistry, math, and physics classes we were just talking about. And I really love the first part of our mission. It's the most visible part. It has the gold key. It has the induction ceremonies, and it has the gold stole at graduation and the scholarships. And they're definitely a very rewarding and meaningful part of what we do. And when you think about other people and the way they see PPK, that's what they think about. They think of the gold key and the honor stoles and the traditional honor student. But there's really another very important part of PPK's mission, which is what really brings us together in these kinds of settings. And that second part is to provide you with opportunities to grow and learn outside the classroom. And it's really important to think about opportunities are sitting there and you have to kind of take them. I always told my students, you're never going to accidentally get a math problem right. You're going to have to work at it and study. But we take advantage of our opportunities through chapter and regional activities. And I've always seen our programming, which is something called the College Project and the Honors in Action, and you'll learn more about that all through this process. But they're very relevant tools to provide students the meaningful ways to explore and address problems in their communities. We have a few of those to address, right, on your campuses and in the world. But you also take action and you take steps to make those issues better around you. And I've worked for community colleges for the past 30 years of my life, and I've worked here at PTK for about 10 years. And I have seen our members overcome incredible obstacles, not just a few of them, I'm talking most of them. And I've seen them use our programs to research and bring awareness to things like racism and LGBTQ rights, mental health, prison education. This region in particular has been very inspiring about the work that we do at headquarters, particularly around certain issues. And a lot is going on in the world right now. And in many ways, 2020 has been a very unprecedented year, and it just keeps getting more unprecedented. And I want to encourage every single one of you to use the tools that PTK has provided you to dig deep into these issues that are troubling each and every one of us at this time. I want you to engage in research and in conversations with chapter members. And even if they have perspectives that are other than your own, I want you to be brave in sharing your thoughts and experience and try to grow and come to find common understanding among each other. And based on what you learn, you'll develop an action that addresses whatever topic you choose to explore. And this year's honor study topic to me is very visionary. The writers of this year's topic must have been reading into a crystal ball of the future. But this year, we're really looking at the idea that it takes 7 generations, and the things that we do today will impact and potentially impact our great, that's great. That's 5 greats, grandchildren, 7 generations down the line. So something we do will have impact there, and something we don't do also has impact there. But it also means that when you explore these projects, that you're looking at the changes that you make now will impact them. But most of us, we want to see change immediately. I know I do, but that's not the way sustainable and systemic change really happens, and it does take time. So with that in mind, I want you to feel empowered that whatever you choose to explore this year, that you are planting a seed. And also, I'm very much looking forward to our international convention right in your backyard next April. So I hope to see each and every one of you around that time. I very much am hopeful at the time that we're all going to be together, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I just wanted to, help kick you guys off and tell you you're really part of something really amazing here. And and everything about PTK membership is just like a gym membership. The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. So I'm interested in watching each one of you grow, and I hope to see many of your resumes for our scholarships go across my desk. And I really appreciate the chance to just be here and to send you off. And thank you, Patty, and thank you to everyone and the officers for your leadership. I see some amazing leaders in this little screen right here. There's a lot of really PTK excellence already right in front of you. You just have to take advantage of it. Thank you, Patty.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. We're applauding. Yay. Thank you so much. I appreciate your message, and it's the truth. And I say, and it's the truth. You get out of PTK what you put into it, how I like to look at it is, we're going to serve you up all these opportunities, right? Big plate, all these opportunities. You don't gain any calories with this big plate of opportunities. You just get a whole lot of experience and a lot of leadership development. And so we want you just to take us up on that. I understand that also I wanted to make a couple of other announcements that Dr. Susan Edwards is also joining. You'll be hearing from her later. She's the Associate Vice President of Honors Research and Honors Programming. And so she's with us this evening as well. So we'll hear from her later regarding the leadership development. I have also been told that James Elliott, our most recent former international president, has joined us, and you'll be hearing more from him next week. But James, if you want to say hello.
Hi, everyone. How you doing? Yeah. Hi, Dr. Lynn.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, James. We appreciate it. Talk about, you'll hear about his story next week and how he took that plate of opportunity and dove in deep and went back for seconds and thirds. And we know James loves dessert, so he went back for a couple of them too. So we're super proud of him. So you'll hear more about his story. So I'm going to share my screen again. And we're just going to talk a little bit more about PTK 101, like just some of the basic kind of things. You're going to hear more about this when you go into breaks. Whoops. Wrong one. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm like today new at this, unfortunately, at some of this stuff. So, okay. Back here, and share. And we want this one. Okay. All right. So, lots of history in an honor society that's 102 years old. And a region that will be celebrating its 35th in a couple years. So there's a lot of history. And we don't expect everybody to know a whole lot about the history. It's there. We share it so that you can understand that it's been here a long time. It's gone through changes. It's still relevant today. It's still a very important part of the community college experience. And so we'd like to give you a little bit about it, and hopefully you can kind of get some of the framework out and you'll understand the differences between what are these 29 regions and how does my chapter fit into it, and the international officers and all of those things. So hold on 1 second. Here we go. So PTK 101, past, present, future. The history, so more than 100 years, Phi Theta Kappa has helped millions of high-achieving college students reach their full potential. We don't just recognize academic success, we give them opportunities, and Dr. Lynn talked about that, to develop professional and leadership skills, earn scholarships, explore career paths, and make their world a lot bigger, right? Some of us, I know some of my chapter members in my own chapter, they're born and raised in Delaware, and they don't usually much want to think about or think they have the opportunity to leave the state of Delaware to transfer to another university. It's just not in our wheelhouse. And so we, want their world to become a little bit bigger. And when they engage in Phi Theta Kappa, they'll understand that. It's the largest honor society in higher education. I'm going to say that again. It's the largest honor society in all of higher education. We are over 3.5 million members strong. We have a lot of members that you might name recognition know. I don't know if any of you are country music fans, like Trisha Yearwood, also Ross Perot, plenty of them in our history that have come through through community colleges and have become a member. We have over 1,270 chapters throughout the world, including the United States, territories, United Arab Emirates, Germany, British Virgin Islands, the Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Canada, and Palau. A lot of reasons, the biggest reason why students accept membership is because of the scholarship that Phi Theta Kappa offers, and there's over $97 million available in transfer scholarships and many other benefits to members. There's the students that want to transfer and they go to schools that offer the Phi Theta Kappa scholarships. We've had plenty of them from the Middle States region lately that have gotten pretty nice packages just because they were a member, right? And who doesn't need a little help if moving on to the four-year university. So the society is based on 4 hallmarks, and I have them listed there, and so in no specific order, but there is a specific order that they should be in because everything, it's by reason of why it is. So I have them up there, and I'm going to ask and see if somebody knows the correct order, but leadership, fellowship, scholarship, service. Does anybody know which hallmark should be listed first? Brianna?
Scholarship.
Scholarship. And why should it be scholarship, Bri?
Because you are students first. School always comes first.
That's right. Students first. We do. Right. Scholarship. We are a scholarly honor society. We do everything starts with scholarship. What's the second one? Any one of my other regional officers? Candace, what's the second one?
Leadership. Sorry.
Leadership. That's okay. Leadership, correct. Scholarship, leadership. And the purpose of the leadership hallmark is, to develop our skills, right? There's not, like we were talking about this earlier today with our regional officers. No one's born a leader, right? We develop into leaders, and there's no end date on that. It's not like, okay, 20 years from now, when you've done your whole career, leader, you're done developing as a leader. No, it's ever changing. Your philosophy of leadership changes with what's going on in the world. And so how we might have thought 20 years ago, or how I thought 20 years ago is not the same as I do now. So we're always developing our leadership skills to be the types of leaders our communities and our world needs at this time. And the next hallmark, anybody? Rachel? Service, right. So everybody's favorite hallmark. Was my favorite hallmark. It's why I fell in love with Phi Theta Kappa, right? Because service to our communities, it was just a great thing to do, to be on campus, to help the blood drives, to do the donations, to, help with the college administration on things. A lot of us are very service oriented, and that's our favorite, right? And the last one we all know is going to be fellowship. And why fellowship? Not in the sense of like everything's a party, although when the Middle States together, it's always a party. Fellowship in that we collaborate with others, other organizations within our college community, other groups, other businesses. However we're doing that, we are sharing our opportunities. And so the fellowship hallmark is about sharing. It's about collaborating. It's about bringing each other up. I'd like to say, if we're climbing, we want to bring the next person up with us. If someone's doing competitive edge and really finds it to be really beneficial and found some really neat things that would be really important to share, and you share that information, that's the whole idea of the fellowship hallmark. So those are the 4 hallmarks. They have never changed. They will never change. They will stay that way. And that's what Phi Theta Kappa's foundation is built on, those 4 hallmarks. I think some of this stuff is just, you probably heard in your induction ceremony, the symbols of the society. Our colors are blue and gold. Blue stands for scholarship. PD, can you just make sure everybody is muted.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Sorry.
Okay, thanks. That's okay. Thank you. So blue stands for scholarship, gold is purity, the flower is the white rose. It's of course my favorite rose, and it symbolizes intellectual friendship. Our Greek name, Phi, yeah, okay, Phromenon, which means wisdom, Theta, Thumos, aspiration, and Kappa, Katarotes, which is purity. Those are the symbols of Phi Theta Kappa, and I'm sure you've heard them all in the induction ceremonies, and you can see them in the description of our Phi Theta Kappa pin. But those are the symbols. I'm going to take a second. Does anybody have any questions before we get?
Honey, we have somebody with their hand up. I don't know. They don't have a name. It just says DBKR plus R.
Okay. Well, they can
unmute and ask your question.
Sure. No?
Doesn't look. Okay.
Okay, so leadership, there's all sorts of leadership in Phi Theta Kappa. It starts, our members are part of our leadership. We have chapter officers and advisors that take care of the chapter on the campus. We have regional officers, which you just met, and our coordinators, which are the leadership of the Middle States region. There are 29 regions in Phi Theta Kappa. There are 4 divisions. We are part of Division 1 because it's based on the map. So everything on the East Coast and the North is in the Division 1. We have an international officer representation, which just met James. He served as the president last year. We have a new international officer team, and you'll get to meet them on the 26th of June. They're going to join us for our celebration. They were just elected at Catalyst a month ago, and they are phenomenal. You're going to just absolutely like to connect with them as well. Then we have headquarters, our international headquarters staff. You just met Lynn. Lynn is the president and CEO. We have Susan Edwards, and you're going to be meeting more folks from headquarters. The physical building for Phi Theta Kappa is at the Center of Excellence, which is in Jackson, Mississippi. So if you're ever in Jackson, Mississippi, you should stop by and see it. It's a very beautiful building. But that's where all the magic happens. That's where there's, the membership staff, the PTK store, and all of that. And they are the ones that, do all the programming and help all of the regions and all the members get the most out of Phi Theta Kappa. And then there's the board of directors. It's a 7-member team representing different factions of the society. And they also work with Lynn to ensure that we are doing the best for our students. So that's the leadership of Phi Theta Kappa. Any questions about leadership? And later on, we're going to talk in chapter operations. We're going to break it down for chapter leadership. Yeah. So, advisors. I hope that I know in these different times, you may not have been able to or haven't met them in person, but your chapter advisor. Advisors are, I say, the rock of your chapter, the rock of the region. They are the constant. They're the ones that are there in every year or every 2 years, depending on when everybody's graduating. They have to start all over again because it's new members. And they do it willingly because they love it, right? They love doing this. We have advisors in our region. I'm not sure if he's on, but I'm just going to shout it out. Dr. William Rickard from Tau Iota at Ocean County College. He's our longest serving advisor. I think he's coming up on year 44. So 44 years as an advisor. It's 44 different chapter officer teams and lots of projects. And his co-advisor is Lois Rickard. And so we have advisors like Ted Lai, who spends every weekend with his chapters doing community service work. And he's been doing that for almost 25 years. We have a lot of brand new advisors in the Middle States region. We're young. We have certain, more than 50% of our advisors are under the 3-year mark, but they are our go-getters, are, those that are getting us to look at things differently, and we're appreciative of it. Our advisors are not just the advisors that have to take care of making sure that you are inducted. They are the coach. They are your educators. They are the person that provides you transportation to events. They are your chief financial officer. They are your mentor. You're the arbitrator of the chapter. They could be your tutor, your tech support when you can't get onto ptk.org. They're also the nominator and the person that writes you your letters of recommendation. And they are always, 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 always your best supporters. So we have an outstanding advisor team of 357 strong in the Middle States region. I know many of your advisors for lots of years. They are always the first person that you should reach out to when you have a question or need guidance. And also they know the ins and outs of PTK and help you be successful as a coach, right? They're not there to do your work. They're not there to do the college project and write the hallmark entries and write your letters of your your scholarship applications. They're not there to, host those meetings that your chapter needs to have. They give you the opportunity to do all those things, and they are there as a coach and as part of the support. They have full-time jobs. The majority, they all have full-time jobs, right? Or a full teaching load. And this last spring semester, it was extremely difficult for a lot of our advisors, right? Who had a full teaching load that had to convert to an online format. Maybe they have never taught that way, and they had to convert, and it was just a lot on their plate, and it's still a lot on their plate. And moving forward, it could still be a lot. So we are here, the region is here to support your advisors in the coaching of your chapter. And that's why we are here doing this in this manner. Your advisor works and is appointed by your college administration. The region doesn't appoint advisors, and we don't fire them either, right? We support them all the time. And so when you see your advisor, I always say, if you're coming on campus or whatever, send them a note, tell them thank you as much as you can, because it is a lot. And we are blessed in the Middle States to have such really engaging advisors. So thank you to all of them. Chapter leadership. The leadership in the chapter always starts, your chapter has an administrator. It may be your advisor, it may not be. It's someone who's responsible for the chapter. Your college president is part of the chapter leadership, your advisor, and then you have officers. And based on your chapter's bylaws, it's what that setup looks like. It's not the same at every chapter, so don't expect it to be. Some chapters have lots of officer positions. Like I know Iota Xi has an army of officers. It works out for them. Some just have small, like at my chapter, we have 5 positions and it works for us, but we need to engage more of the members. The members of the chapter are also part of the leadership, right? Because most of the times the members are the ones that are helping the officers implement and work out those projects that you're doing, setting up table events for different college events at the college. Members are very important to the success of the chapter, and the more engaged members you have, the easier it is for everyone, right? And so that's why a lot of what you will hear over the next 4 weeks is geared to the members, those that are just coming on, just learning about Phi Theta Kappa. We want them to get as much out of the engagement as a chapter officer normally does. We are very big on provisional membership, right? There's lots of different terminology for that. Provisional, prospective, however your chapter may already use this. I know that I always like to say this. The other day, a couple weeks ago, I sat Alpha Eta Chi had their induction, and I heard this number. They have 256 provisional members at their chapter.
222, Patty.
I'm sorry, 222. I'm sorry. I had the numbers wrong. I got my numbers. I knew it was up there. But anyway, what does that say when we are embracing the provisional members? That means day one. And I know at my chapter, and I can say the same for Mike at his chapter at Stanton campus of Delaware Tech. Any student, day one, walking in the door, comes to that table event where we're talking about Phi Theta Kappa and all the different clubs, we want you to be a part of it. We want you to come to our meetings. We want you to be a part of what we're doing and work your way up to full membership, right? So provisional membership is really something important to me, and I think it helps us be successful in moving forward. Also, your chapter may have alumni that come back and support the chapter, recent graduates that have been through it that, like to help transitioning the chapter officer team. So those are the big components, along with the faculty and the staff of the college. They're all part of this. That's basically the levels of leadership that you'll find at your chapter, which helps it to be.
Patty, there's a question before you move on.
Sure.
Somebody, John Novak is asking, what is the difference between membership and provisional membership?
So membership into Phi Theta Kappa is when you've completed your 12 college level credits and you've earned your chapter's GPA, and they're all different in the Middle States region. So I'm going to use Delaware Tech as an example because we are all the same. So at Delaware Tech, you have to achieve a 3.5 or higher after 12 completed college level credits to be invited to membership. When you're invited to membership and you accept membership, you become a full member of Phi Theta Kappa, which means you can have access to all of the benefits, the edges, the scholarships, and all of that. A provisional member, you may not have completed 12 credits, or you may have not achieved the 3.5 GPA. It differs from chapter to chapter how robust their provisional membership program is. So at Delaware Tech, at my chapter, if you are a provisional member and you come to chapter meetings and you do events and things like that, you can earn points. And then those points turn into money to be able to discount your membership into the society once you've been invited. So you cannot vote as a provisional member, but you can participate in all the activities. I hope that answers your question, John. Is there anything else on that? Is that good?
Good, we're good.
Okay, good. So every chapter does something different based on their college's policies on student participation, but I'm thrilled to be part of a college that encourages provisional membership. And I know PG says the same thing about Passaic. You're increasing the awareness when you're allowing students to become part of this from day one. So awesome. So how are we doing for time? We're at 7:42. We're doing good. Whoop. Is that the chapter meetings? That's where I left off at. So chapter meetings, and we're just going to wing through this because next week we're going to spend some more time on this. So there's all sorts of meetings in Phi Theta Kappa. Nothing gets done without a meeting, and meetings can be officer meetings and committee meetings and general meetings and project meetings, and now we have digital meetings, and then we have to figure out our workspace, right? So officers should meet and talk with the advisor and, have an idea and lay out the plans. And we're going to be talking more about that next week. And then within those officer meetings, sometimes you have committees like the fellowship committee or the service committee or whichever college project committee. You'll have meetings for them as well. General meetings is the entire membership of the chapter, right? So everybody knows what's going on, and it, brings about more awareness. And then there's project meetings, which are very important. Setting goals. How are you going to meet those goals? What are we going to do? Proposals and things like that. And then we have this thing now that we call digital meetings, right? That's how we're all meeting. The majority of us are meeting digitally, whether it's through Zoom or Google Hangouts or GoToMeeting or whatever is out there for you. We're doing these digital meetings, and sometimes it can be a little difficult, right, to be digital meetings all day, but we're still getting the work done. And I am, like I said earlier, I'm just astonished at the amount of people that wanted to sit through this. I'm not going to say sit through this, but the next 4 weeks, they have signed up for this. And that tells me that you want to do more. You want to have the opportunities to engage in. And I know with that you are going to turn around and have those digital meetings on your end to share with your chapter members, to have them participate in all of this. So workspace is a little different right now. Every college is different. Some of us have dedicated rooms for our offices, and we might not get back to them in the fall. Every day I hear a little bit, one or more colleges, they're not going to be going back on campus in the fall and won't go back until January. So our workspace is where we're at, right? And we also mean our digital workspace, and whether that's using Google Docs or Google Teams or any of that. I also want to encourage you, the region set out on a regional classroom where we can all meet and put all of our documents and have discussion with you. You can do that on a chapter level, right? And we hope to be able to show that next week. So whatever your workspace is, meaning your physical space and then also your digital space, you have to be able to accustom to work in an area where you're sharing documents and figuring out what works best to you. It's key now that we think about this moving forward, especially when we probably won't be able to have those face-to-face meetings moving forward. Any questions about just a little bit of history and chapter operations? We're doing good so far. I think you've heard enough from me, right? You can shake your head. Right, we're going to go. It is 7:46 and we're right on schedule, I think. We're going to go ahead and put you into the breakout session. The advisors are going to be in with me, and we're just going to have a chat. Enjoy your breakout, and then we're going to come back out, have a few, talk a little bit, and then we're going to turn it over to Dr. Susan Edwards for the leadership development.
I just want to make an announcement to everybody. So I don't know. I think I got all the advisors into the advisor room. But not everybody's names on their Zoom accounts is your actual name that I have on your registration list. So if any advisors, if I missed you from some reason, you can leave the meeting you end up in and come back. I'll be in this general breakout room waiting to see if there's anybody coming in, and then I'll put you in with the advisors. Okay, so if you're an advisor and you end up in a breakout room with students, you can stay if you want, or you can leave and come and hang out with us. Okay, so this takes a minute, but I'm going to hit the button and we're off to breakout sessions. Okay.
Did you put me in the advisor room?
I'm going to.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Did you put Susan and Lynn in?
I did put Susan, and I'm about to put Lynn. Lynn left.
Okay.
So you're going in advisor in just a minute.
Okay. Jason.
Okay. All right. I'm sending you in. Jason, I'm leaving you out with me in case there's tech people issues.
Okie dokie.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
This is Marge Sweeney. I'm an advisor at HAC. For some reason, account linked in A, and it looks like I'm Margarita.
Okay. Not an issue. I will get you in. Just give me one second.
Bye-bye.
Also, Jennifer, when you're done, this is Melody Gashler. I need to go to advisor too.
Hey, okay. Right. Let's see. For some reason, you guys are not. Let's see.
It asked you when you joined the classroom to use a personal account, although I signed up through, obviously through my portal. So I'm wondering if that's a problem.
It's not a problem. It's breakout rooms. Jason, I'm sending you to breakout room 7.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, now I have to find the rest of you to figure out where to put you. Because for some reason you're not coming up on my thing. Bear with me, guys, okay? I don't know, you're here, I see you, but you're not on my list for some reason, and I don't know why.
I'm not?
None of you are in the list to move you.
Oh, my.
So I don't know why.
As I said, I'm on with my personal one, so could it be
no,
that?
it's okay, it's okay.
But I registered through my hack.
Yeah. No, this is a Zoom thing. This isn't a registration thing. This is a Zoom thing. So I'm actually going to put you guys in the waiting room, and then it's going to ask you to come back in, and then I think that might work to get you into the assignments. Okay.
Gotcha. Did that help?
No, did not. And I think, unfortunately, what's going to have to happen is you guys are going to have to sign out and sign back in. I think that's in order for me to reassign you into existing. So I apologize, everybody. I I got 190 people in the right places, so I apologize. So if you could just sign out and sign back in, hopefully that'll work. Yep. Okay, Charmaine, you're a student?
Yes.
Okay. Melanie, an advisor. Vasco,
Yes.
you're a student?
Nope, I'm an advisor.
Advisor, okay, sorry. Courage? Victoria, hi. Are you a student or an advisor?
Yes, I am a student and I was in room 7. I just like switched my camera and somehow got kicked out. Okay.
You were in room 7. Okay, putting you back.
Thank
Putting you
you.
back. You're welcome. Hey, Jen, did you get kicked out? Hey, Mohammed. Okay. a minute. Okay, Bree, so I learned something.
Okay.
So I can extend at the end. A message comes up and says, do you want it to extend? But I have to extend to everyone. So I didn't do it because I wasn't sure where everyone else was at.
Gotcha.
But we know for tomorrow, or next week rather.
Are we supposed to leave so soon?
30 minutes.
All right.
All right.
That was crazy. I'm dizzy. Do anybody really actually feel like they went from one location to another?
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Did anybody actually finish their Kahoot?
Nope.
No.
Did not for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Felt like I think it was 20. Whoever couldn't even get to the questions, we were still in cahoots.
We did
the questions and then Kahoot.
Wait, who finished Kahoot?
We couldn't even get into cahoots.
Cahoots. All right. We're going to
We
work
did
on
like
that.
20
We
of
have my colleague and friend Mike taught me this really good phrase of Mike, what is it? Big hairy goals?
Big, hairy, audacious goals, BHAGs.
Yes, BHAGs. Big, hairy, audacious goals. One really big goal to be able to have a breakout session with all that going on in it.
Listen, I'm just glad that I got everybody in a room.
Yay!
Technical difficulties, but we got everybody in.
That's awesome. Well, congrats. I hope it helped. I hope everything helped out. So I want to hear a little bit more about the discussions. We're going to just take a few minutes to talk about some of the discussions that you had in your breakout session before we turn it over to Dr. Edwards. So let's see. PG, why don't you pick some groups? You know how you set them up.
Okay. So how about group 4 with our regional president?
Okay, so I am the spokesperson for our group. I just want to give a huge shout out to my group members, Darcy, Christian, Edwin, Danielle, Casey, Christina, Deborah, Chigoze, and Maduri. Darcy made, or not Darcy, I'm sorry, I read the name wrong. There we go. Christina made a really good point about the discussion question we got time to discuss. And that was that we wanted to ask them, because we were running out of time, we asked them what did they want to get out of MSR Leads. And Christina raised a really good point. A lot of chapters have trouble with honors and action. It's a big project to navigate. And chapters get to choose whether they do it in the fall or in the spring. And Christina was really excited to be a part of MSR Leads to learn more about honors and action. So that way she and her chapter officer team and her chapter as a whole, Patty's chapter, can work hard and get that honors and action project done.
Patty's chapter.
So that just for you. I got one of Mike's too. I had a Patty's chapter and I had a Mike's chapter. So.
Oh, that can't happen again. No. Awesome. Well, that's
all right. Good. How about room 6, Andy and Jen?
Well, I didn't realize our groups were numbered, and I forgot to ask somebody if they wanted to present. So I actually typed up their answers. We did the questions first and then the Kahoot, just so that way we could get them in. what they'd like to gain from the MSR Leads experience. They want to gain more knowledge about being a good leader, scholar, a good leader and scholar. They want to represent their team and chapter and gain more opportunities, more knowledge, and meet a lot of new people, networking, have fun while fulfilling their job duties as a chapter officer, and develop those leadership skills, qualities, and things like that that make them better leaders. Somebody said learn more about PTK, which is great because that's what this is all about. And as a non-traditional student, some want to engage with other members and officers in the society in the region to build skills to be successful in the job market. Moving forward, how can we support them, surround them with other good people, hardworking, and support each other. They want to learn more about the scholarship opportunities. And they really like the ways that we're staying connected as far as virtually. And last but not least, developing leadership skills. They want to gain that knowledge and the leadership skills because people tend to listen to you more and you can share your ideas more when you're in a leadership position. And they would like to be able to create a legacy for new leaders and future generations, for them to prosper potentially more than we already are, as well as developing our leadership skills and empathize with others to make their lives better.
Wow, a legacy for leadership. That's awesome.
Yeah, they have
good. How about Evan and Candace?
We were having tech difficulties at first.
We started with the Kahoots, so we didn't quite get to the questions yet. But we had some great troubleshooting with the getting the Kahoot game running, so everybody's brains were working in full force there.
Okay.
Good. Okay. And what about our other regional officers, Rachel and Bella? How'd you guys do? How'd it go in your group?
We didn't have too many technical difficulties, but we didn't quite get to the questions. We were too busy talking about our favorite movies as a kind of introduction.
Do tell. What's the favorite movie?
We had a lot of Frozen. Frozen, a lot of Disney, some Lion King. Oh, yeah.
There you go. Oh, Lion King. Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't get to the questions, unfortunately, but we had some newer members, so I thought that was pretty cool. So we can kind of get in touch with them afterwards, too, and get them engaged.
Awesome. That's
fantastic.
Awesome. Everybody get a hand, man. Everybody gets a hand. Wow. Yes. I hope you're keeping track of the people that you meet and exchanging contact information, or you'll be able to hear more, have more interaction in the classroom. We'll talk about that a little later. Also, a little on social media, and also, I see somebody's got a pin. Monica, you got a pin? Yay!
Lord,
got a pin
to the left.
All right. And also in the group me. So we'll talk about that later. So I'm going to be quiet again. Mike said, oh, thank God. I'm going to turn it over to our regional president, Ms. Bree Baroon. So she has someone to introduce to everybody. Go ahead, Bree.
Hi, guys. So I am proud to present Ms. Susan Edwards. Susan Edwards is the Associate Vice President of Honors Programming and Undergraduate Research. She began her journey with PTK back in 1991 as an advisor for the Omega Sigma chapter at Houston Community College. She served as a founding advisor in 2002 for the Beta Lambda Mu chapter at Lone Star College, Cy-Fair in Texas. Both chapters she coached, both of them, earned the honor of being named the Society's most distinguished chapter. She has taught history and introduction to the humanities for 30 years. Susan is a former Fulbright Fellow and a National Endowment for the Humanities grantee, and was named 2005 Texas Professor of the Year by the Carnegie Foundation and a 2005 Piper Professor by the Minnie Stevens Piper Foundation. In 2002, she received the Mosul Scholar Award to study at the University of Havana. Susan earned as a member of the ACPA 2-year College Commission, the National Collegiate Honors Council 2-year College and Honors Semester Committees, and as a board member for the National Council for Student Development and for the American Association of Women in Community Colleges. Susan is a sorry, I can't talk today. Susan is a graduate of Leadership Houston, Leadership Texas, and Leadership America. She served as a chair of Phi Theta Kappa's Association of Chapter Advisors as humanities representative to the Honors Program Council and was elected advisor representative to the Phi Theta Kappa Board of Directors. She was co-editor of the 5th edition of Phi Theta Kappa Leadership Development, a humanities approach, and developed the 6th edition of the curriculum that is available online at leadershipstudies.ptk.org that we'll be using later in the month of June. Susan serves as a national facilitator for Phi Theta Kappa's Leadership Development Program and certification seminars. She joined Phi Theta Kappa's headquarters staff in January of 2007, and as Phi Theta Kappa's Associate Vice President of Honors and Programming and Undergraduate Research, Susan coordinates the work for Phi Theta Kappa's Honors Program Council, the Honors Case Study Challenge, the program for the International Honors Institute, the Faculty Scholar Conference, the Leadership Development Studies, as well as the Mosel and Marshall Awards. She writes the introductory essay for the biennial honor study topic and edits the Honors Program Guide and Civic Scholar, Phi Theta Kappa's Journal of Undergraduate Research. Everyone, please join me in welcoming Susan Edwards with a big MSR welcome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And let me just say to all of you, I said to your advisors, congratulations on doing this. It's really exciting. And I'll tell you, it's also a very good model for honors in action. I'm just saying. Middle States is always at the forefront, and the vision of Patty and your associate regional officers and your regional president and regional officers is just incredible. And all of us at Phi Theta Kappa headquarters have been talking about it. So bravo to you. Keep up the great work. It's really exciting. And thank you for allowing me to be part of this. I'm really excited to be here tonight, and it's been really energizing to listen to all of you and to hear what you've been up to and what you're thinking. And I'm also really excited to talk to you about the Leadership Development Program. And thank you, Jennifer, for allowing me to share my screen, because I actually did just do a few slides that I wanted to share with you. And let me make sure, I'm glad I have my reading glasses on, because I was in a webinar a little bit ago and actually just shared something really random that to my eyeballs without my reading glasses just looked like the right thing, and it wasn't. So I want to talk to you about this program. It was really interesting to hear as in the reports about your interest in leadership, which is really great. I will tell you that our program is really based on personal leadership more than positional leadership, which doesn't mean that we don't look at leaders who have positions of power in the United States and in the world, because it's an inclusive group of people, and it's meant to be people certainly who were part of American history, but also who are part of world history. And so we're really excited about that, and we know that all of you have leaders or have the potential to be leaders. Patty mentioned that leaders aren't born, they're made. And this is a program that we hope will help you with all of that. So the 6th edition of the Leadership Development Curriculum is online, and it's self-paced. We're really excited about that. I give props to Dr. Lynn Tincher-Ladner, who wanted us to put it online. And this was before we ever knew there would be a pandemic and that we would need something like this online. So it's just about a year old. So it's really a pretty new curriculum. It's very similar to what we've done in the past. The classic cases and the leadership profiles are all humanities-based, but with incredible leadership lessons to learn. And I'm going to point out a few of those. I know I just have a few minutes, so I want you to see a few of them that are really very timely right now. And then it's all open sources. And the reason that that's important is that because the curriculum is now free to all Phi Theta Kappa members. You can get linked to the curriculum at the URL that's on the screen here. And of course, you can go through ptk.org. But this is a curriculum that you can use whether you have someone who's certified to teach it on campus, whether your whole chapter is working on the leadership development curriculum, and whether you just are interested personally as developing as a leader. We hope you will consider this. I didn't get this question at the advisors, and I didn't mention it. We do have faculty who we certify to teach the course. So the course at a lot of colleges is available for credit. sometimes for non-credit courses, sometimes for workshops, and those things are all taught by certified faculty. But you can take it without working with a certified faculty member in case there is not one on your campus. The other thing that I don't have on the slide, but I think is pretty remarkable, is that we also have opened this curriculum to non-Phi Theta Kappa members. It costs $10 to access the curriculum if you are not a Phi Theta Kappa member. So we want to be able to reach as many Phi Theta Kappa members as we can. We'd also like to reach community college students. We believe in this curriculum. We know that you're future leaders and that you're going to make a difference in this world. And, you know, let's face it, while the problems we're facing right now are historical in nature and they are cultural in nature and they've been around for a long time, we need leaders. We need sensitive, inclusive, strong leaders, strong in the best, non-perjurated sense of the word. So there are 10 units. Let me talk a little bit about this. 10 units. For the curriculum that's free to students online right now, if you go to ptk.org, everybody needs to finish Unit 1 before proceeding on to the other units. There's a reason for that. It's about developing a personal leadership philosophy. It's the cornerstone of really thinking about who you are as a leader, what leadership means to you, what you hope to convey to the world. And so when you go into Unit 1, our classic case is Sarah and Angelina Grimke. I guess I should give them both last names, Sarah Grimke and Angelina Grimke. They were these extraordinary women who lived in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, and they came from a slave-owning family in South Carolina. They grew up on a plantation, but they left and they became some of the United States' most ardent abolitionists, and then very, very early, pre-first wave of feminists, women's rights advocates. And they put up with a lot of, I guess, like nonsense. I probably shouldn't call it that to the people who were saying things to them, but they put up with a lot of stuff. Women weren't supposed to speak in public. That was unseemly. They put up with a lot of criticism. And when you see their photograph, it's very typical of a 19th century photograph where they're not smiling and they're just sort of looking straight at the camera. So they were charged with being ugly. And of course, that's why they were speaking in public. I mean, it's really an extraordinary history. But they were incredibly intelligent. They were passionate. They felt that they really were doing something that was going to hopefully move the country, and they felt it was the morally right thing to do. They're a timely duo. If you look at Sarah Grimke and Angelina Grimke, so they're our classic case in how they developed their leadership philosophy, really stepping outside a comfort zone of what they knew and what they grew up with. Our leadership profile is John McCain, Senator John McCain, the late Senator John McCain. And his farewell, when he knew he was dying, he was close to death when he wrote it, what he wanted to leave to the world, what he wanted to say about the world and about partisanship and about doing the right thing and about moral courage. He left this extraordinary letter. And you can see it in two forms in Unit 1. It's there in written form. It's also there in the original video of it. His former campaign manager read it. He was too ill to actually read it and deliver it in person. But it gives you a sense in both the cases of the Grimke sisters and John McCain about what their leadership philosophies were, what they hoped to leave to the world. And they're really both extraordinary pieces that are in that, and hopefully it will help you develop your leadership philosophy. Then in each unit, we have a classic case and a leadership profile in every single unit. The other thing we have in units, we have TED Talks, and I'm going to mention one of them from the Unit 1, Developing a Personal Leadership Philosophy, because it sort of fits especially with what John McCain had written to be given in by his campaign manager. I think he probably really wanted to be able to give it, but wasn't able to. And that's one by David Brooks, who is a conservative columnist who's written a lot about character in the past, probably 4 or 5 years especially. And he talks about, would you like to live your resume or your eulogy? And in thinking about being a leader and thinking about what you're doing in the world, you should think about the fact that, that Bria had written or read my resume, which tells you something about some of the things I've done in my career, but maybe doesn't tell you much about me as a person, unless you read about there. David Brooks said, we all tend to do that, right? That you maybe wouldn't want to know that I have 2 dogs and 2 cats, although they'd like you to know that. But, what animals mean to me. And but he's saying, we need to think about that. It's important when you're looking at leadership and your philosophy to think about, well, what will people say to you? They're very unlikely, or about you, they're very unlikely to read your resume at your funeral, for example, a memorial service. So what would you like them to say? So that's there. And there are a number of other TED Talks, Susan Cain, who talks about being an introvert, being quiet. There's Amy Cuddy, who talks about presence. So there are other people who come with their leadership philosophies and what they know about leadership. And they're all things not saying to you, this is what you need to do to be a leader. They're all designed to make you think about what your philosophy is and what matters to you, and looking at other people and what their philosophies are so that you can develop that. And then we have some exercises. Some of you may have done the value sort exercise that helps you really determine what your top values are, and so that those can be a compass for how you make decisions as a leader. There is an exercise about the assumptions about people, and how we all come to the table with assumptions about people, how sometimes those are correct, sometimes they're not, how to look beyond what our assumptions are about people. It's a really a nice exercise that way when you're really considering what matters to you and how you're working there. And then there's an opportunity to do a journal entry. There's a leadership journal entry. There's a discussion board, and there's some really cool discussions going on in the course every day. It's fascinating to read them. And then there's also a quiz at the end of the unit. Those things are true for every single unit, but unit 1, everybody goes through that. No matter who you are, even I went through that, had to get all those checklists there. And then you can go units 2 through 10, you can go in any order you'd like to go in. So whatever matters to you at that point, maybe your team as a group wants to go through something particular. Unit 5 is building a team. Hopefully nobody's having conflict yet, but Unit 8 is guiding through conflict. There are lots of things to look at there. I want to mention Unit 9 because I think it's just really timely right now. The classic case is about Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. And I think that it's an important piece once you finish Unit 1 to maybe look at for what's going on in the world at this point. Susan Anthony and Elizabeth Stanton were great friends. They were friends for over 50 years. They worked together over 50 years. And of course, they started out as abolitionists, but their real contribution was that first wave of the women's rights movement and trying to get suffrage for women in the country. Lots that goes on and unpacking, what they did, but they worked together for those 52 years. And Lynn mentioned that sometimes change takes a long time. Neither of them ever got to vote. They never lived to see what they worked for all of those years. It's a remarkable study in leadership for that reason. So I should mention Susan Anthony did go to vote, and she was arrested and put on trial for doing that. And that's part of what you would read in there. But they're very interesting, and they're interesting in the sense also that Stanton was quite radical, even though she lived a much more traditional life. And Anthony was sort of the consensus builder, the person who still believed the radical idea that women should have rights and they should have the right to vote, but who looked at it in a different way. And it's a wonderful historical story about how people work together and different leaders with different ideas about how to accomplish the same thing can work together over time to get that done. So I encourage that. When you look, you're going to see a lot of different people with different ideas, leaders who are thought leaders. Some of them are political leaders. Some of them are educators. Some of them are community activists. They come from all walks of life, and you'll read about. And we're very excited about it. We hope that it's going to be really valuable for you. We hope you'll go through the whole curriculum when you have a chance. I was asked the other day, it probably takes, say that at least, I guess if you're focusing, certainly a weekend, it may take you some time. It's a little bit longer than going through the edges. I know Johanna is going to talk about that next week, and they're really wonderful programs. But I think that if you go through individually and really thinking about your leadership and where you want to go, you can do that in a relatively small amount of time. When you go through as a team, I think you can do that as well. And I love that the program you're doing online is going to be, I guess you have homework in the leadership curriculum, and you're going to be doing Unit 1 and then going through a number of the other units. I hope that's going to be really valuable for you. And I certainly am really willing and able to answer questions for you. I know you have so many incredible advisors in the Middle States region, and many of them are certified as leadership instructors, and they can help as well. But thank you for working with the leadership curriculum. We're very excited about that. And I don't know if I've been seeing chats. I don't know if some of those are questions for me or if they're just questions in general for everybody. But if you have questions, I'm happy to answer those. And if not, again, thank you for the opportunity to be here and to talk about the course. And thank you for using it. We're excited about that.
Thank you, Susan. Let's everybody give Susan a hand. All of them have been really positive comments, and their gears are working on how they can do this as a chapter once we're done. We picked 4 units that we thought were beneficial to what you're going to be doing in learning to be a leader of a chapter. And that's why we picked those certain ones. But I don't know if you've ever heard, Susan knows this, and the associate coordinators know this in the regional team. We're very competitive in the Middle States region. And so I think if we get a uptick of some of you that have finished the entire program, no rush. We're not going to put a time limit on it. We're going to be making some recognition in the future. So yes, definitely take a look at it. I know that there's some of you who are provisional members that are thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? I'm not a full member. Your advisor only needs to reach out to me later on, and I have a list of provisional members, and the Middle States region is going to cover that access. I just have to figure out how that's going to work, and we will make sure you get access starting tomorrow to leadership development. So we're doing that for our provisional members that are registered for this course, so don't worry about that at all. We want you to take it, and hopefully it will help you, as you move forward. So are there any questions for Susan? You can unmute yourself and ask if you'd like. No, everybody's just excited to get started. So yeah, we are going to do a little homework. We have self-study, what we're calling the self-study portion of MSR Leads. It's, if you looked at the guide, I don't want to open it up and all that, but you have a copy of it. It's on our website, and it talks about our goals for this program and how we're going to achieve these goals, and then the components of it. And so one of them is the Zoom sessions on every Monday night, which this is what we're doing now. And then we have some self-study, which is highlighted in the guide by our MSR Leads logo. And it's certain that focuses on the leadership development program. And then we have some other things like the virtual engagement series that Phi Theta Kappa headquarters is doing. And they do webinars on Honors in Action and College Project and a lot of the things that we're going to be learning over the next 4 weeks. And they do them on Facebook Live, or you can register for them. There is going to be an update to one for the week of the 15th. So we'll make that change in a couple of days. We encourage you to participate in them because you're getting it straight from headquarters, right? They have lots of ideas, and there's lots of people from all around the country that attend those, and you get to hear from them and also the experts on these topics. how to engage your members, how to increase awareness, all of it. So they're all really important. And then on Thursday nights for the next 3 weeks, starting this Thursday, you don't have the Zoom information for this yet. Our alumni are having activities, fellowship activities, trivia night, and a virtual escape room another week, and then a talent show another week. And so we're going to start this Thursday at 7 with those. You don't have to, but if you have nothing better to do and nothing's on TV, it's summer, really. There's nothing on television. Join us on Thursday night and engage in those activities. We'll have some of the regional officers and myself will be on. So if you have any questions about what you're doing, you can always ask. So to talk more about the self-study part as it relates to the leadership development as for how we're using it in the region, I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer Gasparino, our New Jersey Associate Regional Coordinator.
Hey, everybody. I want to say that a couple of years ago, I had the privilege to go to headquarters in Jackson, Mississippi, and become certified to teach this course. And it's been really amazing to be able to learn. And I have incorporated, a lot of the stuff that is in this program into the honors capstone course that I teach at State County Community College. And it is really beneficial. You can, in the future, speak to some of the students at PCCC, and they'll be able to tell you that have taken that course, and they'll be able to tell you that they really enjoyed, seeing some of those parts, and they didn't even know where it came from. So we're going to have up on the Google Classroom beginning tomorrow just some questions for you to kind of think about and maybe interact with each other about. I know there is a discussion board that you can interact with through the program, but we thought to bring this back to the region, that would give you an opportunity to really be able to kind of interact with each other in our classroom. And some of the things I want you to think about while you're going through this, I want to just start with thinking about the actual curriculum as you'll see it. There's things to read, there's things to watch, there's things to do, right? And so you're going to read, Susan Edwards talked about the Grimsby sisters, right? And this is a really, really powerful message, and you're going to read letters from them and see all about their journey through this sort of revolution and resistance, which is one of our honor study topics this year, right? And I want you to think about, there'll be a question about them and what really inspired you from their story? What did you, when you were reading their story, how could you think about that in a way that touches you personally? But also remember that what we're doing is about research, right? And so you want to be able to look at that kind of stuff from an objective standpoint, right? So we're going to kind of, challenge you a little bit to think about what you're learning about how it connects to you, but also objectively, right? As if you're coming from a research platform. The next thing I want you to think about is there's several different TED Talks that you're going to watch. And one is more amazing than the other. It's really difficult, but I want you to be able to think about which one is your favorite and be able to talk about why it's your favorite. Right. And finally, there is an activity that both Patty and I really, really love. And we did this with the regional coordinators. And if it's okay with Patty, I'm going to ask them after I tell you about it to just talk about their experience with it. But it's called the Value Sorts Card. Right. And this is about connecting to the values that you have. Right. So we come as individuals to organizations with our own belief systems, our own cultures, our own moral compass, things that we've grown up with, right? Things that we've learned. And then sometimes we go to college and we we go to places, institutions of learning, and we start to challenge those belief systems, right? And we start to challenge our thinking, and that's what education is supposed to do, right? So what this activity does is it challenges you to think about your value system, and it forces you to choose from this amazing list that you will probably connect to all of the values, right? And sort of narrow it down to the top, okay? And so I want you to be able to think about those top values that you pick, and pick the one that really resonates with you and be able to talk about why. So you'll see all of those questions in the Google Classroom. And so if I have the okay from Patty, I'm going to ask the regional coordinators to talk about, because they have a list that I wrote down about their top
You mean the
values.
officers?
The regional officers. Yeah. To talk about their experience with that value sorts card. So just a minute or two.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Mm-hmm. So, come on, guys.
I guess I'll go first. So as I put in the chat, as Susan was talking, all of the regional officers and myself have been going through the leadership development course in preparation of being able to talk about it and share about it and collaborate with you all about the leadership development course. So throughout the course, so PG, you wanted us to talk about the value sorts card activity, correct?
Just your experience with it, real, just a 30-minute elevator speech, 30-second elevator speech.
Well, I mean, y'all know I can give a 30-minute elevator.
Yeah, no.
Don't tell her 30 minutes.
So 30-second elevator speech, pretty much, it's pretty difficult to work through. I mean, it's a fun activity to work through, but as you're going through the sort cards, you're finding the values that most align to who you are. And then you're given the option to have just two of these values that are so important to you that you have to fight for, and you have to decide, if you were given the task to fight for them, which one would you pick and why? And that is a really hard thing, because you have to search deep within yourself and understand the values of yourself to make that decision. So it's definitely a fun activity, and it's one that kind of puts you in like this deep headspace. It's really cool to kind of work through it.
Deep headspace. Rachel?
Deep headspace. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. How about you, Rachel?
I found it really interesting because I'm a person that, I love to look at definitions of things and see like just words on a page and just kind of see how it resonates with me. And, looking at all of them, it was interesting because a couple of them right away is like, okay, that's not that important. But I came to a point where I was like, I don't know what I'm going to choose between. And I really had to sit and think about, okay, well, what does this one mean to me? Would I be able to fight for it? And that was one of the things we talked about. So that was really interesting to see kind of which ones maybe I thought were more important. But as I thought about it and thought about them in different circumstances and situations, I kind of found, okay, this one's, more prevalent to me than I thought it was. So it was an interesting eye-opener for me.
Did you find out did you learn something new about yourself by looking at those cards?
I guess you could say I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Rethink things. Yeah. It happens. Hey, Evan, how about you? We'll ask Evan.
I lost the list of which ones I chose, so I can't go back to it. But when I was going through it, I sort of made a list of like my top 5 or 10. There's like a huge 2 pages worth of different values and stuff to go through. So I made a list of like my top 5 or 10, and I slowly chipped it down until I got just a few. And at that point, I sort of had to think of, well, which applies more to me just specifically, and which applies more to my leadership philosophy and how I want to, interact with others. So from that, I finally got down to 3, and I think one of them was honesty. Honesty. That's as much as I can remember.
Do you want me to tell you what they were? I haven't written down.
Oh yeah. You're doing better than me at keeping track.
I mean, what are our values?
Honesty and transparency.
That was 2 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I only wrote down your top 2.
Yeah, I had like a top 3, and I had to cut one off because it was sort of similar.
Yeah. Okay, we're just going to end up with Bella. Bella, you want to share?
So I found it a little complicated because there were so many and it's just two. So I feel like each one applies to different situations. So bringing it down to just two, it's like the ones you know are like the most important that you feel are versatile in each situation. So I forgot what mine were. So
Love and pleasure.
okay, thank you. So I currently felt like love, to do something you need to love, because sometimes it's gonna get hard, you're gonna have complications, you're gonna have breakdowns. So it's the love and the pleasure, the joy you find in doing something. And in the first step, I don't know how to call it, but there was this TED talk from Shonda Rhimes. I really love her, but she keeps killing all my favorite characters in Grey's Anatomy. So I don't know. But her TED was like, she loves her job. That's what keeps her going. That's what keeps her spirit bubbling. That's what keeps her in the long run, because sometimes it gets hard. Sometimes she loses the zeal, but the love which she has for the job gives her patience, transparency, and this other characteristics to come with it. So I found it really interesting. So that was pretty cool.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Awesome. One of the things that we will do eventually, now that the regional officers have done this by themselves, we've been working hard to get this program up and running, and we've kind of taken a little break from their leadership development through the program. But our goal is now to figure out as a team, what is their most important values as a regional officer team, and then when we get ready to set goals based on their most important values, we will move forward with setting goals for the region. And so I love the value sort cards. It's really, it's a deep think. Is that what Bree called it? Deep brain think?
Deep headspace.
Deep headspace. Yes. And it can change every time you do it. And so thank you for sharing, regional officers.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions about it too, you can always reach out to the regional officers. I think they are through unit 3 at this point. Yes, thumbs up. We're through 3. And we plan to finish it. We're pacing ourselves. We are going to get, their goal is to get through the entire program because they want to be certified as well. So we're excited for them and all of you. So I know all of you competitors and overachievers, I bet you some of you will do unit. Why should I skip over to 4 after I've done 1? I'm going to do 2 and 3 and then I'll do 4, right? So please don't feel that there's no due dates on any of this, but we do want you to participate in the Google Classroom with the follow-ups. First, it comes with, in order for you to get credit through it, you make sure you do all the posts that you need to do within the leadership development program. And
I just want to add something else, and I want you guys to think about this. And some of you may have done some exercises in leadership profiling and who you are as a leader. And, I want you to, sort of a long-term challenge of this. And this is also something I do in my honors capstone course, using sort of this model, right? Is the student, at the very beginning of the semester, my students are required to write a reflection on their leadership assessment, right? And then they're 15 weeks later, after they've gone through all of this leadership training and all of this, the projects that they do, they have to reflect on their leadership. And so that's something I want you to think about as you move through your tenure here at PTK, and whether you are a chapter member, an officer, even our alumni, right? Reflection on your leadership should be something that you continuously do, right? So, every 6 months or so, you might want to just sort of take a think about it and think about what it is that, is changing about you. And, coming off of the last 2 years honor study topic, how assessing yourself and acknowledging what you are and how are you transforming as a leader and where is your growth coming from? Because who you are as a leader today will not be who you are as a leader 6 months from now.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is an exciting part. This is the first time we've used the lead. We've used it in the past with regional officers, just bits and pieces of it, but we are definitely diving deep. It is, like Susan said earlier, thank goodness it went online when it did, because it's available to all of us, and a really great learning experience. So we only have a couple more minutes left, and what I wanted, just a couple of announcements. If while we're still recording, I know some of you have expressed some concern getting onto the Google Classroom, and I think I'm going to let Nikki. She's our certified Google Classroom instructor. She's gonna. Are you still with us, Nikki? I think I saw you.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, so I think if some of the questions we've been getting, Nikki, and if I'm wrong, some folks are struggling with getting access to it, or even if they have a Gmail account. And I'm wondering if it's because it's tied to their college's EDU account or whatever the case is, or maybe they need to just use Google Chrome and not Explorer or Firefox or Safari.
Sometimes we've seen issues when it's not in Google Chrome. That isn't always a primary issue. The bigger issue I've noticed is the .edu. So even if it's a Google account and it's done through another organization, sometimes the filters there will block your access from being able to join a Google Classroom. So that's just something to keep in mind. So if you're having trouble with that, try a personal Gmail account and then log in that way. And if that's still not working, try it in Google Chrome. Another option is a smartphone app. So you can download it on Android or on iPhone, and they're pretty easy to navigate when you're on that. And I've seen some people who've struggled getting on the web browser version be able to get it on the smartphone. If at any time you are struggling to figure out how to connect, please feel free to reach out directly and I will walk you through it. And we've got a couple people on that way as well and worked out the kinks on their end so they were able to connect.
And Patty, I was going to say too, that it's great that you have Nikki. Yay, Nikki!
Yeah.
Doing this. Sometimes it's connected to your regular Phi Theta Kappa login. If for some reason your email address is different, Reagan Chastain, who is our curriculum designer, can help you. And I put her email address there. It's reagan.chastain@ptk.org. She's great about helping people get in. So if all those things, if it's not your internet, if there's some reason it's your login, she can help you. She can get it straightened out.
Okay. Yeah, because we did have some that weren't able to get on to ptk.org either. And so, yes, so there's the assistance there. We will help you get access to those things. You can always email me. Everybody's heard from me at least once or twice over the last 72 hours via email. And you can email me directly, use the group me thing that we set up, and we will make sure we get you your access that you need. I know someone today was saying that they couldn't get to ptk.org. We will make sure that we get that straightened out for you tomorrow, for sure. The other thing that I just wanted to say, if you're more than welcome to hang around, if you'd like, we're going to stop recording in a couple of minutes. I know some of you might want to just chat or even continue on the conversations that we were having earlier. The regional team and all of the breakout session leaders, we're going to be debriefing. I know we have a few kinks to work out, and we're glad to sit here and listen for a little bit. But before I do that, no Middle States event is ever the same if we don't start calling folks out and by state. So what I want to do is make sure you unmute yourself. I'm going to start with the state of Delaware. Everybody from Delaware, let me hear you. Hey! Delaware! Yay! And moving on down to the state of Maryland. Yeah. Pennsylvania, let's hear you. And New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great. And we all have our state identities and all of that, but when we're always together and throughout, it's just one of the best sounds to hear when I say, everybody in the Middle States region, let's hear from you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. We are a little obnoxious at international events, aren't we, when we get together?
A little bit.
But it's fun.
Okay.
It's fun. A little bit. Just a little bit. Thank you. Let's give us all a big hand for a wonderful first night. And I hope to see you again on Thursday. We will be sending you emails out about the connection notices on that. And then next week, we will have our Monday Zoom meeting password protected. I will send you the password. It'll be the same link, but it will be a password that you'll need to use to get into the meeting, okay? And we will walk you through that if there's any, if you run into any difficulties. Before I log off again, I'd like to thank Dr. Lynn Fincher-Ladner, President and CEO of Phi Theta Kappa, for sharing her time with us and giving us the charge. Dr. Susan Edwards, Vice President of Honors Programming, Undergraduate Research, for being with us tonight. And we look forward to next week when we're talking about member engagement, IMPTK, and how do we become a more engaged member. We're going to be hearing from our former regional officers, Marie Febrilette, our newest our newest Jack, I can't even say it anymore. Cookie Speller. Yeah, that. We're so proud. Just getting ready to, hopefully we'll be hearing where she's going to land with this soon. And also from James Elliott, our international president, who also served as a regional officer. You're going to be hearing from them. And also Dr. Joanna Williams will be with us. And we'll be talking about the edges so that you as a member can get the most out of Phi Theta Kappa as a member. So big hugs. I know we can't, I learned something the other day and I can't remember what meeting I was in, but you know, huggers in Phi Theta Kappa all can't be here. But another great way of doing is just give yourself a hug. Think of someone that you want to give a hug and, you know, put your right hand over here, your left hand over here, think of them and squeeze. I think of all of you when I do this. And so you're the best. And thank you. And we'll see you throughout the coming days.
And make sure to follow us on social media, please.
Go ahead,
we
Karen.
are BTK Middle States on Instagram and Facebook.com/Middle States BTK for Facebook. We are going to be posting some things for you guys to do there. Just fun things. So
big shout out to Caroline, does all of our social media and communications direction in the Middle States, and a big support to me. We're so excited. And also to Jason is with us. I know you always see Jason running around with the camera in the video. He's been with us all night helping us manage our technology. So thank you, Jason. Big hugs. Thanks to the coordinators. Thanks to all of you for making it special. I'm gonna just stop recording, but this doesn't mean that we're signing off.